Hi, Noor. Can you believe that it is the eve of Remembrance Day, and a lot of people have special plans for commemoration ceremonies or to be outside, and a lot of them probably wondering what kind of weather and temperatures they're going to have to contend with. What's it looking like?
Well, it's interesting actually, Anne, because large parts of the country are seeing temperatures not where they should be. We're looking at a lot of mild air across large sections of the country. It doesn't mean there isn't signs of November across large communities, and by November I mean snow in the forecast for some. Now, a lot of those Remembrance Day ceremonies happen in the morning, and so for areas like Montreal, we could actually escape that heavy rain during some of these ceremonies. 10, 11 p.m., we're going to see potentially dry conditions, if not slight showers. So the heavier rain actually happening towards the overnight hours early in the morning, and then we get another push later on in the evening. If you'll notice, you don't have to layer up too much because temperatures are into the double digits, your high 12 degrees. And this has been a theme really across large parts of the country. We're seeing mild air extend through even into the prairies. Saskatoon 2 degrees, so a tad bit warmer than where it should be. Calgary close to seasonal. Vancouver well above average, and even into areas like northern Ontario. There is still, though, signs of November in the forecast, and that's that snow that we're seeing through this low pressure system. The worst of it is hitting northern Ontario. That's where we're seeing the snowfall warnings and weather statements. We're looking at 20 to 30 centimeters of snow. We are getting heavy snow to the north in Quebec. That'll be Monday and Tuesday, but much of southern Quebec is involved with rain. And as I mentioned, tomorrow morning, if there are some early morning preps for those ceremonies, we could see the heavy rain towards Quebec City, Trois-Rivières. Much of the rest of southern Quebec will be seeing dry or mostly dry conditions by the late morning, or if not the early afternoon. And then another push of rain later on in the evening, 7 to 8 p.m. Some snow towards Mont-Laurier and up to the north towards Saguenay, pushing to Gaspé even into Tuesday morning. But areas like Sherbrooke, Thetford Mines, also Trois-Rivières could be seeing some snow early in the morning as we head into Tuesday. While we see those plummeting temperatures, as the system moves out, we will see some clear skies in its wake. So there are some good news there. By the middle of the week, a lot of sunshine, but for the most part that will come with a price, and it's those plummeting temperatures. So a mild overnight tonight. That won't last very long in the coming days, because we'll get into those negatives quite all right by the middle of the week. -2 on Wednesday, -3 for Thursday, Friday. That's where closer to where we should be when it comes to the overnight low. Expect single digits well through the rest of the week after we get through Remembrance Day. 8 and 8 for Saturday and Sunday. At least we've got some sunshine in there.
First look at the forecast. Let's bring in weather specialist Noor. Noor?
Hey, thanks very much, Anne. Well, look, I'm sure the Toronto skyline probably looks fantastic tonight. The problem is, you're going to have to take my word for it, because we can't see anything with our harbor cam, courtesy of a lot of cloud cover and actually a lot of fog in the region just now. Good news, though. 10 degrees outside the Toronto airport. That's well above average. Much of this side of the province has been looking at wet conditions, just rain and not snow, and that's mostly because of the very dry conditions extending especially into southwestern Ontario. 14 in Windsor just now, but even in Sudbury, where we're looking at 4 degrees, still fairly mild. We are looking at the first bit of snow starting to travel now into northwestern Ontario, and that's where we're going to see the heaviest totals come Remembrance Day tomorrow. So this evening and heading into Monday morning, around 20 centimeters for parts of northwestern Ontario. It will be windy in other areas. We're looking at southern Bruce County towards Georgian Bay. Wind gusts potentially 70 to 90 kilometers per hour. It will be a fairly windy day across much of this side of the province. The GTHA pushing to the east and into southwestern Ontario as well. Those winds probably gusting around 60 kilometers per hour for areas like Toronto, 50, Peterborough and Kingston. We are looking at rain for your Remembrance Day, but actually in the early morning hours and towards the afternoon, where much of those ceremonies happen, it's just going to be mostly showers and cloudy conditions for much of us. As we head into the evening, the heavier rain pushes in around the dinner hour towards the east and into parts of cottage country. So the good news is it won't be a washout, and we are actually seeing climbing temperatures, but do be prepared for those strong gusting winds. Into the overnight tonight in Toronto, and also as we head into tomorrow, especially in the afternoon hour, gusting winds up to 60 kilometers per hour. Your high 12 degrees for your Monday. Anne?
Thanks for that, Noor. A lot of them probably wondering what kind of weather and temperatures they're going to have to contend with. What's it looking like?
Well, it's interesting actually, Anne, because large parts of the country are seeing temperatures not where they should be. We're looking at a lot of mild air across large sections of the country. It doesn't mean there isn't signs of November across large communities, and by November I mean snow in the forecast for some. Well, your Remembrance Day won't be a washout at all in Toronto. In fact, when a lot of those ceremonies are happening in the morning around the late morning, or if not early afternoon hours, it's going to be mostly dry, potentially a shower or so in the Toronto region. Cloudy, but a lot of wind, gusting up to 60 kilometers per hour potentially in parts of the GTA, and as we push east, 50 kilometers per hour as well for other parts of Ontario. We are looking at mild conditions across much of the country, as I mentioned. In Fredericton, 10 degrees today, 10 in Toronto, and even mild in Saskatoon, Regina, quite above average. Calgary, closer to seasonal, and Vancouver, above average yet again. We are seeing signs of November, though, and that's that snow. Snow is normal in November, but actually a lot of parts of southern Ontario and pushing to the east won't actually get some snow for quite a while, including into next week. So while we're seeing that snow move through, it'll be mostly towards northern Ontario and northern Quebec as well. Down here, it'll be mostly rain, and we'll see that rain developing around the dinner hour again to the east into parts of Peterborough, Muskoka, North Bay as well. And as we head into the overnight hours, we could see some flurry activity around Owen Sound, potentially into North Bay as well. But take a look at what happens when this system moves out. As early as Tuesday, we start to see those clouds dissipate and that low pressure replaced with high pressure. Now a lot of clear skies, and so plenty of opportunities to see the sun Tuesday and into Wednesday. Really fantastic conditions. The only drawback, though, is that we'll see those plummeting temperatures quite quickly, and that's what happens when we have a cold front that's moving in into the coming hours, and with that the temperatures start to tumble behind that cold front, and that's what we're going to see as early as Tuesday in Toronto. So 12 degrees tomorrow, 12 in Oshawa, Barrie 11, 13 Niagara Falls, 12 in Belleville, and by Tuesday it's down to 7 here. Wednesday 7 as well, with -2 for that overnight low. As we approach Friday and Saturday, warming up and brightening up. But it does look like Sunday will get a lot more cloud cover, still dry. Your high at 11 degrees in Toronto. Center. In fact, it's still persisting in areas like North York, and above that 13 degrees just now outside the Toronto airport. It's actually even getting warmer hour by hour, especially as we see a lot of these winds pushing from the south at times in Toronto and Hamilton, and for other communities, London, Ontario, Windsor, from the west. These winds have been causing quite a problem. A lot of active weather over here. We've got a severe line of thunderstorms tracking east at a high rate of speed, and that has brought some severe thunderstorm watches and warnings, along with squall watches and even weather statements for strong winds gusting potentially up to 90 kilometers per hour. The risk right now is mostly damaging winds, but we can't rule out a tornado, and of course the risk of hail with these severe thunderstorms. The system right now is probably around the Milton and Halton Hills region. It will continue to track east into Toronto, Mississauga, Vaughan and Markham, potentially around the midnight hours, before it continues to track east through areas like Cottage Country and into Kingston as we head into the overnight. So the bottom line is, whether this is bringing hail, rain, or potentially a tornado, you should not be outside right now. Seek shelter if you can. Your Remembrance Day will be mostly showers around much of the map, and as we head into the evening hours, heavy rain. Peterborough and the Kawarthas around Tweed as well. For the most part, though, a lot of dry conditions for much of the day in Toronto, but it will be quite windy, gusting winds up to 60 kilometers per hour from the west-southwest for much of the day. That means your high 13 degrees in Toronto. Anne?
Thanks for that, Noor.
Take over some viewing regions. Let's see how your Remembrance Day will shape up. We'll expect rain in your forecast in Toronto tomorrow. It'll be on and off. Showers expected around the time that we're seeing those Remembrance Day ceremonies. And then again, as we head into the evening, for the most part, though, cloudy and windy. These winds from a friendly direction, and you can see what that'll do to the temperatures. Once again, a high into the double digits, 11 or 12 degrees come tomorrow, and we're going to stick with that for much of the day. Mild temperatures have been common across the country, as I mentioned, and you can see what I mean just by taking a glance. Parts of Atlantic Canada into those teens. A lot of 12s on the map here in parts of central Canada. 11s, Vancouver and Calgary, certainly not normal. But we are still seeing the signs of winter, as I mentioned, and that's that snow. Mostly around northwestern Ontario, the heaviest, and towards eastern Quebec as well, where we're going to see those accumulations. Not so much the case for large sections of southwestern, southern and eastern Ontario. That's where we're mostly going to see the rain. And here it is by tomorrow afternoon for those Remembrance Day ceremonies. Mostly showers, as I mentioned, though cloudy. And we'll get another push, this time heavier rain towards the Peterborough region around 6 o'clock or so, around north of Bancroft as well. As we head into Tuesday, potentially some overnight flurries, Owen Sound, Wyerton. But take a look at this. The low pressure system moves out and quickly the high pressure takes over. So we're going to see some spectacular conditions and in fact clear skies heading into Tuesday evening and for your Wednesday as well. That'll be some good news. We would like to see the sunshine after that rain. The potentially not so good news is that as this cold front moves on, we're going to see temperatures plummet behind it. So these double digits that you're seeing on the map tomorrow will be no more as we head into your Wednesday, especially in Toronto. 7 degrees and a frigid overnight at -2, 8 on Thursday, so back down to seasonal. It'll get colder though around Cottage Country, up towards Barrie as well. Friday and Saturday into the double digits with some sunshine. Will cloud over by Sunday, 11 degrees.
Time now for our first look at the forecast. Let's bring in weather specialist Noor. Noor?
Hey, thanks very much, Anne. Well, if you were able to catch that early morning sunshine, lucky you, because it didn't last very long and things got messy real quick in Quebec. We were looking at snow or mixed precipitation towards Mont-Laurier and up to the north of that, but even some of these areas found it hard to remain in that icy situation because we saw a transition of those bands from snow to rain due to the very mild temperatures. Our highs in the double digits towards southern parts of the province. Sherbrooke, Granby should be at around 3 degrees rather during this time of year. 11 is well above average. Our usual high in Montreal around 6 degrees. So you can see across the map many are seeing mild temperatures, and these will continue into our overnights. Many of us are supposed to be into conditions below the freezing mark. That won't be the case tonight. We are expecting heavy rain into the overnight for much of southern Quebec. As we head into your Remembrance Day, many will start to see the rain open there Monday towards the east especially. But depending on what time those Remembrance Day ceremonies are, we could see things taper off to just showers by the time they happen in the late morning and the early afternoon. We are looking at more of that heavy rain, though, to roll through by the evening hours, and of course snow up to the north. I'll tell you who will see how much snow and when in the full forecast, and just whether there will be some snow in store for southern parts of Quebec as well. For now, not the case. Tomorrow, your high 13 whopping degrees in Montreal. Rain on and off through the day.
Thanks for that. So some people call this transition season. I call it anything goes. Do you need, rain boots? Do you need snow boots? Do you need hiking boots? Who knows?
Yes, and you really summed it up really well there, Anne, because it's quite unusual during this time of year. Snow is normal, and we have that in the forecast for some, but for others, mild temperatures into the coming days, and that's going to take over some viewing regions. Let's see how your Remembrance Day will shape up. Well, no snow in the forecast come tomorrow in Montreal. We are looking at rain on and off. It'll be heavier, especially in the morning hours, but we'll see some drier conditions in the late afternoon. Do expect it to be a windy day, though. These winds from a friendly direction, which brings us to these temperatures. 13 degrees for your high is not normal, but I think for many, they're going to take it, especially if we're going to be outside for those Remembrance Day ceremonies. You won't have to layer up as much, although you will need something to shield you from the rain. Mild temperatures have been a common theme across the country, and you can see these double digits extending into Ontario, parts of Atlantic Canada as well, and even into the west. Calgary and Vancouver, 11 degrees, certainly not normal. But we are seeing still a taste of November-like temperatures and November-like weather, and that's that snow. We are expecting it to hit heaviest towards northwestern Ontario. That's where we're seeing the snowfall warnings. 20 centimeters possible. We could be looking at accumulation, especially around eastern Quebec as well. But for southern parts of the region, well, it's just going to be heavy rain through the course of the overnight and into tomorrow morning. Quebec City, Lac-Mégantic area. By the afternoon, as I mentioned, tapering off to showers. And then we're going to get another push of precipitation into the evening hours. Rain in the south and snow to the north. But as the system continues to track to the east, Tuesday morning could open with some flurries. Sherbrooke region, Thetford Mines, and even towards Saguenay and Sept-Îles could be seeing some of those early morning flurry activities, which could last until you head out to work or take those kids to school. Now, the good news is, as the system moves out, we're going to see some clearer conditions by the middle of the week. So do expect some sunnier conditions as we head into Wednesday. The downfall to that, though, is we are going to be seeing plummeting temperatures, because when this cold front moves through, it'll bring some cooler conditions after it rolls out, and that will be the case on Wednesday. 3 degrees, some frigid overnights as well through Thursday and into Friday, and then we start to warm up heading into your Saturday and Sunday. A few degrees above average, and there's some sunshine to keep us company during the weekend as well. Very much, Anne. Well, the sunshine is long gone in Quebec, and the past few hours we've been seeing things get messier and messier. I'm especially talking towards the Mont-Laurier, Saint-Donat area, where we're seeing a mix of both rain and snow, and the system slowly moving through southern Quebec, but mostly on the wet side thanks to some very mild temperatures. You can see, especially in the south, approaching the southeast, things are fairly warm. Thetford Mines 6 degrees, 7 in Sherbrooke earlier, 10 today, when they should be at around 3 degrees. This is not normal, but it does explain why we're seeing more rain than snow, and up to the north is where we're going to see those icy conditions. Now, even as we head into our evening tonight, it will still get cool in areas like Thetford Mines and Quebec City, towards La Tuque as well. Still fairly warmer than usual. In fact, much of this map should be looking at temperatures below the freezing mark. Snow is normal in November, but I think many of us in southern Quebec won't be seeing it for a while, and I'll explain in the full forecast. It will continue to get messy to the north of Mont-Laurier towards Quebec City in the evening hours. For your Remembrance Day, a lot of rain in the early and late morning, and then snow to the north. So if there are any ceremonies that are mostly around the afternoon or late afternoon, they might actually escape the rain before we get another push down in the evening hours, 9 to 10 p.m. Some more of that messy weather towards Mont-Laurier. So in Montreal specifically, the good news is we're going to be looking at milder temperatures. Your high 12 degrees. Do be mindful that it will be a tad bit windy. Those winds from a friendly direction, the west-southwest. Anne?
Thanks for that, Noor.